What's up, everyone? This is Landon with the making of War of the Ages. So this one I had to make twice because it was watermarked. So even when you have a pro subscription in Sora, your images still get a watermark in the bottom of them that you have to download it without the watermark. Otherwise, it's stuck in your video. So I made the whole video uh, early July, probably actually late May is when I started it. And yeah, I just recently finished it after making it twice. I made skylines since then and everything like that. So this is where it all started. It's actually my first project with Sora altogether. I started trying to get feet. So I was thinking, when I start these videos, I actually don't have an entire clear picture of what I want yet. I just know kind of like certain key points. So I thought perhaps a good starting point would be feet. Always trying to establish that introductory shot. But as you can see, Sora had some trouble with feet. I'm also not going to be clicking on the images because I literally have, it's probably 2,000 or more. So I'm just going to be hovering over them because I don't want to lose the page by clicking on it. Chance it might reload. But the feet was something I kept trying to come back to. I actually wasted a lot of time on feet, and I never even used any feet in this video. So trying to establish some of those early lion shots. It's obviously some pretty incredible footage. But see, I'm kind of a perfectionist, so if it's not exactly the tone I'm trying to stay consistent with, I'm already aware that this lion's going to be doing some activity that's going to require CGI, and so this kind of tonality is really beautiful, but not quite for this video. This line. So a lot of early shots. So Sora allows you to remix shots, so there's a lot of exactly the same shot over and over again. That's a very common theme, actually, is to be jumping around. There's shots that are all over the place, way up, way down here, because you can keep remixing the shot to try to get something different. And with Sora, you actually have a very high chance of the remix being worse, but there's always a chance that it actually saves your shot, and so it's a nice feature. Most of the time, just generating a new image is faster, but there are definitely times when the remix was very handy. So when I stumbled on this image, this is when I really kind of started to understand what I might be able to get out of Sora here. That this is very different from what Deep AI would have given. Much more photorealistic kind of visuals, very grounded in realism. This one is, despite the fact that there'll be weird things that happen, especially more often than Deep AI, it is definitely like every single image in Sora has something wrong with it, but they're 10 seconds long, so I take any second that works. It's definitely too many to break down over, but I did get some shots that went in the video I got early on, but the majority were definitely heavily worked on throughout the whole thing. Just taking a screenshot image and trying to generate it over and over again. Sora has a way of taking an image and then going into a whole new direction. Deep AI will take the image and keep going with exactly that. So what it thinks its movement will be, it'll probably keep going forward. But with Sora, it always does something random, and that's actually kind of nice because it allows you to diverge drastically from an image, whereas in Deep AI you're kind of stuck in that kind of frame, with the tonality and whatever's happening in that scene. It's hard to break away from. Sora has these very consistent jumping kind of qualities when you upload images. So this is not just a Sora thing. This is every AI just about that I've dealt with struggles with physics, especially with projectile. Obviously this video had a lot of projectile, even the guns in the future. All of that was very troublesome to describe, even when you literally vividly describe what happens, what a catapult does. I even talked to ChatGPT, try to work out ways to try to define it, and ChatGPT could not come up with any better way to describe. So the only thing I ever used from the catapults was literally this last couple seconds in slow motion. That's another thing. Basically every shot in this video was slow motion. I turned them all slow motion. So it depends on what the video asks for, but this video, it definitely was required to have everything in slow motion. There's some that were in reverse shots. Certain shots you take from the back to the front, like it's actually backwards motion, and sometimes it ends up looking like it's forward motion. It just depends on the shot. Sometimes the shot looks like it's backwards already, so you just flip it. So you do all kinds of crazy things necessary. You take images. I use tons of external places too to get content to bring into Sora. If I'm using other AI generators that can make an image, if Sora can't make that tonality that I'm going for, and Deep AI can't get it either, I might just go to like some kind of image AI generator, and just to establish, you're basically grounding the visual tone when you put an image in. Most of these aren't, but there are plenty of cases throughout this whole long list where I did that. So that's where I broke down on boots. I'm going to be skipping all that. Didn't use any boots. So it's mainly the beginning as most the important content to talk about. I originally thought it was going to be like an original, a medieval kind of thing. It was only kind of as I progressed that I realized that I do want to go through the ages. So a lot of it is just kind of establishing, these banners too. You definitely need to learn what you want as you go, because once you see things, you start realizing what's possible, and what's not possible. You have a vision in mind, and it doesn't matter because you come in here and then your vision's not possible, but then something else is, so you just work with it. So this is one of the most important things that happened, was we got this guy because I used him to get another guy, the other guy. I'll show you later. So these were all my attempts to get the Lion Banner General. But what I finally came down to was, see, there's some really cool shots. But I ended up, after all this, just using that guy to generate our next general. Well, I guess before we see our general, we have the lion and the dragon battle. I got this shot early, and he has two heads. This shot made it in, but the fact that he has two heads made me think, I kept retrying it quite a bit, but I tried it again later on too. But you end up defaulting back to what works, So this is where we established our next general. I still hadn't figured out who. I knew kind of a redhead. I tried describing him, blah blah blah. Almost used this shot right here. This was almost our Lion Banner General. But I'm a perfectionist, and I knew I could do better. I know when something needs to be better. So I tried something new. I said, so this is where I started to say, he's a completely different person. He has ginger hair and a full beard, hoping that it might do one of those drastic changes that it likes to do. Well, here it did some change. Tried again. It switched to a redhead at the end. Tried it again, and he actually did it. So it was actually 3 tries, and he was a redhead from the back. So I took a screenshot of this, or saved the frame, put the frame in, and like magic, I got the face, just the face. So I took that image. So now we've established a new general holding a lion banner who bypasses all the randomness of generating new, and now I have something established in the tone that the other general was in. So I took that face, put it in again, and we have our shot, the second shot from the whole video. By the way, he looks exactly like my cousin Brandon, so I told I told Brandon that he made a cameo in this video, so that's him. Maybe slightly older than Brandon though. That's me trying again, but I was like, no, that's the shot. So yeah, my wife actually got this shot. I gave her the reins for a minute, and she, very first try, I got the best lion shot, because I tried again to get other lion shots, and this was the best lion shot. The dragon, on the other hand, was kind of a nightmare. My wife actually got these shots too. So one of these shots got in the video. So my wife got two cameos. But I came back to the dragon countless times. There was originally going to be another dragon, and he didn't look good at all, and I felt like there was nothing I could do about it. Countless attempts to get catapults to still work in the hopes that I could get more action. This is me literally taking that lion video that my wife got and trying to convert him into a dragon the same way that I converted the general, and it wasn't gonna work. I don't think it was something that had to be lightning in a bottle on its own. So many attempts, many, and we're not even at the tip of the iceberg here. Yeah, see, trying to get more fighting dragons. This can go on forever, and I'm not gonna sit here and scroll through all of them, but it's mainly the intro that was the important shots, I think. It's so much trial and error. Yeah, that's actually a random break I took. I took a break to see if it would generate one of my fantasy maps that I made. Just boredom. And then I got back to business. A lot of business. I can barely move the scroll bar without it jumping a crap ton of videos. So I guess this is probably a good spot, because this is when transforming starts to happen. So this is where I kind of realized that this is the moment of the time change. There's going to be a clash. So there is actually a story in this video, and the story is that the war is not the war of the men. It's definitely they're fighting someone else's battle. They're representing, their allegiance to the lion banner, their allegiance to the serpent, whatever. And your first thoughts might be, oh, maybe the serpents are the bad guys, maybe the lions are the good guys, but it's not about that. It's literally, it's a battle bigger than themselves, and they're just kind of pawns. I mean, that's essentially, and it's through all time, from this time to the future, until the end of all things. So if you keep seeing these guys' faces, this is me. There you go. There's a shot that got in there. It's me trying to get any more content out of our guys. Because even with Sora, it's still difficult, because you might get much more variety on your shots. Like, more things can happen, but there's always an issue with every shot. I don't care what shot it is. There's an issue with it. And a lot of times the whole video is the issue. Everything. So, you're always trying to find what's usable here. So, okay, so they're going into the new time period, portals and all that. Just to get the simplest shots, like soldiers walking into a vortex. Constellations. Came back to the constellations a million times. Started to establish some of these early Revolutionary War shots. Still wasn't sure the direction or the tonality. I was hoping to maintain ultra realism, so most of these shots I was thinking I was going to go this direction, but what turned out to be was my revolutionary shots all turned out pretty CGI, which was what I didn't want, but actually it's the only way. Like, there's a reason why revolutionary time period looks best animated, Alright, so I actually had to cut the video because when I went above, all these videos failed to load and I was waiting for a while. It was just too long. That's what happens. I have them all loaded on the same page. I have no way to really separate them, so it just really bogs down to have them all loaded at once. So I'm just going to talk about a few more things here. The fact that it's foggy and the use of silhouettes and clouds, these things automatically give your video a certain tone where your other descriptions almost don't even matter, because you can say anything you want, but if it's a daylight shot, it's not going to turn out very poetic looking. It just defaults to a certain style when it's daytime. So the fact that everything is cloudy, foggy, nighttime just really lends itself. So that's one of the most important things about, especially this time period, because of the fact that this time period does look kind of weird when it's photorealism. Using that silhouette really helped. This is me trying to get our generals into this time period. I ended up having to do kind of some creative things to get them to be able to fight. For example, I had to put them on the same screen together. Yeah, I'm struggling with that projectile. I'm trying to get to the part where I put them on the screen together. So these explosions are what led me to my fireworks special. I literally broke down here. It was the night of July 3rd turned into the 4th, overnight. And while I was working on this, I literally stopped and really quickly went into Sibelius, wrote down the notes to the Star Spangled Banner on a bagpipe, and then just uploaded it and made this video just in a couple hours, because I wasn't ready for my Friday. I wasn't even close. So in a desperate time, and it happened to be 4th of July, so I just decided to stop and just briefly do this. Even though it's a lot of shots, it's significantly faster. I did it overnight, basically. So that's why the 4th of July special happened. It happened while I was in the revolutionary time period making this video, and it just really went. It looked firefighters. So silhouettes for a while, and then it leads us to our dragons. Our celestial battle. I came back to this a lot because even though Sora is supposed to specialize in these ethereal kinds of things, the fact that there's a subject matter, there's a dragon and a lion, so whether they're spirits or not, it was very difficult to get good shots. Let's see here. A lot of remixing. That's basically the majority of what I do, is I just remix shots. I'm like half and half, honestly. So yes, lightning bolts leading up to our general battle. Everything opens up. The clouds open. I actually forgot about this. We go to the industrial period first. So this is where I use Deep AI. I jumped into Deep AI so that I could establish, if I'll ever get there. Okay, so these industrial buildings, this was Sora's attempt to get city growing from the ground. This is just a strong remix, but Sora kind of struggles with transformation, is what I've noticed, like things that really evolve realistically, especially. So I got a base of this into Deep AI, and then I brought it back in and remixed it, and that's kind of how I got those shots. So this was where I literally took these two images, I put them into a picture together, and I saved that image. So it had one half this general, one half that general. That was the only way to then give it a prompt that would potentially make these two guys do something. But obviously it changes them in many, many ways. So I broke down here for quite a long time. I even got like painting. I started realizing that I might want to do like fan art or something for my videos, because I could literally do painting and concept art for my characters. It'd be kind of fun. That's when I thought about that. But I tried endlessly to get them to battle, and what I finally eventually ended up getting was this. This was originally the battle scene. This is back when I had all the watermarks and I had to remake my video. This was originally going to be the scene, and I really hated it. I hated the ground they were standing on. I just hated the physics, and I got tons of shots. He was a pirate, you know, he turned into a pirate over here. I was pretty pleased with how he looked, kind of that Civil War look, and we're kind of heading into that time period anyway. So I thought it was okay, but when I came back to it to remake it, one of the most important things was to redo this entire scene, and I did. So that's after Skyline, way up. After my next video, I came back and prompted some more things. So this is where Deep AI really, I just used one word, illustration, as the remix, and it was enough to really bring it back. Illustration for that. That wasn't used though, but this one was used. So yeah, Deep AI did come in handy a couple times with this one. Basically anything that Sora can't do, Deep AI usually can't do as well, but sometimes it can. So here's another example. Something else. Basically, the only other thing I used Deep AI for, I took this shot from Sora because it was almost what I wanted. You know, the industrial complex breaking down. But the thing is, it never really truly crumbles. And so I took this image, and Deep AI has no problem. Once it's visually grounded with something, it has something to work with. It can totally make something realistic happen with something existing. So it just took this and made it more crumbly, and it even landed with smoke and everything. So that was another Deep AI moment. Other than that, we got our lightning bolts, the stream of consciousness. I was gonna try to have the evolution to the next age was gonna be a stream of consciousness, but it kind of ended up being lightning in the end. More attempts to get these guys going through the portal and all these things. I originally had the whole scene exactly the way it is now. It was almost the same exact scene, but it was just with this stuff, and it just wasn't as good. Mainly the ground they were standing on was ruining it for me the most. I was even gonna put up with the pirate thing. So yeah, heading into Civil War. Silhouettes. This is silhouette was key. I basically used the same. I took everything I learned from my 4th of July special, put it into this to getting that foggy battlefield with the. I was using words like painterly and parallax. Parallax footage is where it almost looks like a moving image, an image that moves slightly. So the kind of techniques that help make the 4th of July special definitely got our Civil War time period out of the way. And so yeah, them again. This basically takes us all the way into the modern era, and in the modern era it was way more important to have the silhouettes, because nothing's gonna take us out of the fantasy than modern war soldiers. So the silhouette was the only way. There was no other way to make these scenes fit nicely. So yeah, it speaks for itself. Just a lot of silhouette, more gun explosion-y stuff, remixing the shot over and over again because it struggles with explosions. It blows itself up. Things blow up that don't need to be blowing up. So over and over again until the fire comes from the barrel the right way. And it's actually the shot I ended up using is gonna be like towards the probably like right here. Yeah, that's the shot, the very last one. Just a couple more things. The flags. So I had ideas. I had a plan sort of for bringing perhaps the Lion and the Dragon back, not in the constellation, but actually bringing them down back into the battle again for some more epicness. But the modern time period was making that difficult. So this is where my brother actually had given me a suggestion to try to make it clear what the story is that they're kind of almost pawns in this ages of war basically. The puppet master, my brother suggested that perhaps like kind of concept footage of like hands controlling the battlefield Well, this was my attempt to just kind of see what that would even look like. And yeah, if you know the video, this would have been very hard to put in the video. Weird. And also just none of it looked right. I even tried again a little later too. This is where I come back to all my shots, getting dragons that I missed, or trying to fix that dragon that I hated basically, and then fixing tanks, and we're into the airplanes. So that's so the only thing to talk about is I came back to, after all of this, probably won't even load. I'm still in Skyline. This is all Skyline, the next video. Still Skyline, still Skyline. Okay, this is where I kind of came back, but none of it's gonna load, is it? Okay. See, so this is way later. I still kept coming back to this, and that's probably why the video turned out pretty well, because I remade it. If I had posted it the way it was, it would have been 3/4 as good. We would have taken a whole notch off its quality. It's gonna be hard to even find where the battle that actually ended up in the video, but it's one of the last things I did. Here we go. Still struggling to establish a new ground visual, because I was trying to leave the old visual entirely, which required using those same photos. They're both their photos on the same page, and hoping to get them. So this was the beginning of it. Other things happened. You end up realizing which one is the one you really want to remix. So I kept trying things until you finally end up defaulting to this one, back to something way down there. This unguard moment, I took the capture, and this is pretty much the one that did it. The fact that they're almost clashing swords helped Sora finish some. Now, it was usually like 1 or 2 seconds in slow motion that was usable of each shot. Like even a full second not slow motion was not usable. But the fact that everything was in slow motion made it. It was just a huge sequence of sword hits and blah 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 blah. So that's basically it. Probably more than 2,000 shots. Not for that video, but the fact that Skyline's on here too, it's probably like 2,500, upwards of 3,000. So all of that goes into CapCut in the end. This is actually for the video I'm currently making. I'm going to be making this how-to video on this timeline. So it all goes into CapCut. All my images go in there. And obviously, the music, it all comes from here. So, currently I'm still kind of struggling to find my audience. I am still making progress. I have no intention of stopping anytime soon. I want to do this as long as I can. It's just difficult because I'm having a hard time getting my videos seen. I have all my friends seeing it and stuff, but YouTube really doesn't want to try to promote it out with people that I don't know very often. So I'm still working on it, and I think the more videos, the better, and the more engagement from my audience is definitely what helps the most. People actually commenting, people liking. These things, they ensure that my video is recommended to other people, and then it doesn't actually die. So, if you haven't subscribed, please do so now. I would also like to maybe just give you a little sample of the song. You can see I composed it all here on Sibelius. So I'll give you a little taste of the song itself. By the way, this video bar right here, I just realized has been here the whole freaking video. It's supposed to be gone. So I just added a couple instruments to kind of boost the sound. Like this piccolo up here is actually a synthesizer. I calibrated it to be a synthesizer, and just a couple things to enhance it. But other than that, the instruments are part of the ensemble. Here we go. It's a little snippet of it. So the song is on Spotify. It's also on SoundCloud. It's on a lot of things. Last FM, a couple different things like YouTube, obviously. So come check me out, and I'm gonna be doing a lot more of this, and it's probably gonna get more and more epic each time I do it. So stick around. I got cool stuff brewing, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.